stepper. Know I got that faith walk. Why you got that drip? I let my wave talk. Told me pick a side, but now my plate stocked. Yeah, never will I flee, but watch me take off. Hold on, wait, yeah. I'm a light beam. They don't like me. I'm not a hype beast. This that be like Chris. They wanna fight me. Pull up to the show. I call that sightseeing.
So I've got Vidit with me. Vidit is huge into motorsport. He's won a lot of autocross championships around the country. He does rallying. He also has a tuning shop in Delhi, Gurgaon, and he tunes cars all over the country. They set their own maps now, which is made in-house at GT Tuners to tune the cars, and that's how he's built a community of passionate enthusiasts with cars that are already fast stock but want to go faster. And that's where Vidit comes into planning of the modball run. A couple of months ago, Vidit spoke to me when I met him at GT Tuners, where he told me about this crazy idea about taking 20. Back then, I think you told me there were 12 or 15 crazy guys who wanted to drive from Delhi to Leh. And I thought, good luck, getting these guys together and planning the whole drive. And if that is happening, which I thought was a pipe dream back then.
Of course.
Back then, it was a pipe dream.
100%.
And I was like, you let me know, and I'll be on board, coming for the drive. So.
You weren't the only one who thought it was a pipe dream, Like anybody who I ran the idea of, whether it was family, friends, or, people who wouldn't understand what passion does to you. The feedback was just, are you mad? Are you crazy? Have you seen the roads? They're not going to make it. It's you're taking up a nightmare and it's not going to be done. But at the end of it, we're here, you and I, driving down Leh and, discussing what's happened and how it was.
Yeah, because I think a few weeks after that, you called me and you were like, bro, the drive's happening. And we've got a Ferrari, we've got a R8, we've got a bunch of M cars, we've got a bunch of Audis and Mercedes AMGs. I mean, I was like, okay, hold on, let me figure out my plan now. And a few weeks later, we're on the drive. We started from Gurgaon, and some of the guys shipped their vehicles to Srinagar, not because, they thought that it's going to be too long a drive, but because they wanted to drive on the nicer roads here, right? They didn't want to do the highway.
Of course, and to be honest, I think the major challenge with whoever trucked their cars was the time frame constraints. So everybody here is working, has businesses or has a job, and taking that many extra days off was slightly tougher. So Sid, Dhananjay, all of these guys opted to send them in because they thought they'll save a few days by then. But yes, coming back to how I called you and said it's happening, it all came together very nicely, and trust me, like there is no one person who is responsible for modball. It is the whole community and the entire 45 people that came together in a matter of 3 weeks and said, yes, we want to do this together, That's the power of sharing a passion, and that's the power of putting together people who want to do similar things and, end up empowering each other on such an, like an adventurous episode that you want to go on to.
Absolutely. So with it, we drove from Gurgaon to Srinagar, stopping over at Jalandhar, and then we went to Gulmarg and Sonmarg, and then we've reached Leh. Even from Leh, we went to Khardungla, and we've also gone halfway through to Changla and back. So let's talk about this drive. Let's recap about
it. While you're saying it, I'm just like, digesting it and taking it in one more time. Oh yeah, man, you've done a few miles.
What sentence is that? Like, how did you even do that?
I know, it's one of those things, right? That you think about, you want to do, and you feel like there is a way, there might be a way. And then eventually it sort of figures itself out if you have the right kind of people. Like, again, continuing from there, like, I have nothing else to say except, have names that pop up when you say we drove down from Gurgaon to, Srinagar via Jalandhar. It wouldn't have been possible without a friend called Shiv Jot, who in Jalandhar, made sure that in the last moment at a drop of a hat, we had 20 rooms ready for the entire convoy to stay, the cars being parked safely, and, us leaving from there. Then coming to Srinagar, we were very clear that, Kabir is taking care of all his hospitality because his family's been doing this for years. They've been in the industry for almost, 50 years now. So he made sure that right from the arrival into the city, which I don't know if many people know is restricted after 4 p.m. because of Amarnath Yatra currently. Correct. He made sure that the entire convoy moved together and without a flaw entered and did not have any, issues permission-wise, because we did get separated at Zojila, all of us.
Correct.
And we did have, not Zojila, the other pass, and we did have issues in regrouping and coming together. So we made sure that all of those small things were taken care of, and no one really had any issues.
Yeah. And about the drive, say, let's go back to the first day. Gurgaon to Jalandhar, that was the first time everyone in the group was riding together.
Absolutely.
Thankfully, everyone had their walkies with them. Sahil had given everyone a set of walkies.
Yes,
too,
so actually, not Sahil, I'd like to thank Brute Force, because they also at the last minute, when it became from 5 to 8 people, which I could have taken care of with my personal walkies.
Yeah.
It became like suddenly 25-30 cars. We needed our demand suddenly came up, and Brute Force was kind enough to come into this and said, you know what, we are here to support you. We'll provide you with the equipment you need. So thanks for that. So Sahil made that happen too. Like, again, another person who was integral to this and everything coming together.
Yeah. And everyone with about 300 horsepower, fast cars. There was no racing on the road. Everyone was so responsible driving on the highways.
Which is what we made clear in the briefing earlier, because in the evening we all sat down and we discussed that, what guys, we're in this for long haul.
Yeah.
We're not here to race. We're not here to break rules. We're here to enjoy what we've got and make the most of it.
Correct.
So the idea was, the instructions that were given was to keep 2 to 3 car lengths amongst each other at highway speeds of 80, 120, which you're doing on the eastern peripheral, and make sure that you keep the person behind you in your rear view mirror. So that's something that we followed the entire trip, and that's actually really worked for us, because that's how a convoy is successful.
Exactly.
For a lot of people who have and who haven't, this is a very small rule of the convoy that everybody follows. If the person behind you starts to slow down, you slow down a little bit, and that helps the convoy stick together.
The thing is, everyone knew that the nice winding roads were coming, and there's no point, going all out on highways,
The reason why I think we all love winding roads so much is they make speed limits seem absolutely perfect.
Exactly.
So if you're doing 40 kilometers or 50 kilometers an hour on a 4-lane road in the city, it might seem slow, but if you're doing 50 kilometers an hour on the lay, swinging back roads, it's brilliant. It feels awesome.
Absolutely. But the surprise for me was, I've never been to Gulmarg before this. The sights of Gulmarg, I mean, how scenic was that?
To be very honest with you, this was my first trip through Kashmir. I have never been to Kashmir myself. And I was also taken aback. Like, it was a mini Switzerland. Like, it took me back in time where I'd gone to Europe, and it really, really was something I have never expected and never thought I'd see. But yeah, Gulmarg was something out of a book, 100%.
And it's about an hour and a half from Srinagar.
Absolutely.
And then you go the other side and you reach Sonmarg, and it keeps getting better.
Yeah. I think the only slightly differential factor for us that we probably thought about but didn't account for too well was the amount of armed military on the roads, basically for the Amarnath Yatra.
Yeah.
And the amount of permissions that were required at the back end from Kabir's office to make sure that our convoy was moving slowly.
Still went without a glitch.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's all everybody coming together, and each of those posts, thanks to the tourism department of J&K, who made sure that they sent information out to everybody and told them that, we are here. We're not here to cause any disturbance. We're rather just here to promote a different kind of tourism, so to say, and open up this beautiful, beautiful land that we have in our own country to a lot more people who would have been hesitant to get their cars or drive down. But now I think after this, there's no question of what car can reach Leh and cannot.
Absolutely. And what you won't see in the video, because we didn't shoot it back then, was at Sonmarg, where everyone was having an intense meeting about how to tackle Zojila the next day, right?
That I'm telling you, that meeting again was a build-up of so many conversations. Like, if I was to just discuss and put down my thoughts of the challenges we came across, when me, Kabir, Sean sat down to basically iron out all wrinkles and plan it through in a way that whatever it might throw at us, we are prepared. So coming to J&K, coming to Ladakh, we know these are sensitive areas.
Yeah.
We know these are areas where permissions are required. We know these are areas where you have to go by a certain decorum and a certain law, which is only of that land. So to make sure that we were absolutely in tune, we even organized backup flatbed trucks, which fell through a week before the event. And the guys who we had booked it with said, sir, we paid them advance. They dropped back and said, sir, we've got military booking. I am sorry, we cannot do anything about it. And of course, the defenses before anything else, we said, of course, but we had to come up with backup solutions, backup plans, and eventually it came down to the fact where we had accounted for the fact that we are in the monsoon. It can rain. We are in landslide prone areas, or even if not landslide, rock slides, basic rock slides. And a small event like that could turn disastrous for especially the 911, the R8, or the 488.
Right.
Nice little AMG purr there. So yeah, we made sure that we had those backup trucks, but our boys were so excited and so eager to take on Zojila that they didn't even use them. I mean, we had them, but the way Sid and Sean both independently tackled their set of challenges, because due to the sheer amount of trucks, we were separated into two groups, and we had to make sure we were all on the same page for Zojila, because it was something that was going to be the toughest part of the journey, and everybody was very well aware of what they were getting into. Like, very honestly, before the event started, everyone asked me, how you convince so many people? Do they not know what they're getting into? Do they not? I said, everybody is very aware. Everybody knows what they're getting into, and everybody knows that it is just a game of patience and persistence, and you can get literally anywhere you want.
The sense of achievement though after crossing Zojila.
Oh man, it was surreal.
It was like they won the F1 championship or something like that. When plans for modball run fell into place, our first call went to Mercedes, who gladly sent us the GLA 35 AMG, and the second call went to Vredestein for a pair of shoes capable of taking on this challenging road trip. The Ultrac WarTi tires on our GLA 35 made the drive hassle-free, and that's why we are now in Leh talking to the organizers of the drive about the planning and everything that went into creating modball run. I've got Kabir with me. Kabir has driven his M3 all across Kashmir, and the critical point of the drive when we knew this was happening was when Kabir crossed Zojila in his M3 without any backup. That's when most of the boys in Bombay who have M cars, they were like, okay, chalo, we can also do this. Although a lot of them didn't come all the way to Leh, but almost everyone got convinced that the drive will happen once Kabir crossed Zojila with his M3. So let's start with that. How did you plan to do that route, and you went viral on Instagram with your car?
So Anand, it all started between me, Sean, who's SRP, and Vidit. So we Kashmiris are very hospitable, so I always used to tell them, like, come visit, why don't you guys visit? So one day finally Sean called me up. Sean is like, Kabir, let's do Kashmir. I was like, bro, I've been asking you since ages, let's do it. And then Vidit came in the picture. I said, Vidit, you want to do it? He said, let's do it. So when we had two guys, I was like, oh, you know what, let's put it in the group, let's see how many people turn up for it. But yeah, it was just a small hi hello on the phone call, which just turned out to be in this. But eventually people they didn't want to do it because they're like, no, it's not doable. So it was just a fine morning. I woke up, I was like, I woke up early at 6:30. I was like, you know what, I'm going to Zojila. Let me show them it is doable. So I called a random friend of mine out of nowhere. I was like, yo, where are you? He's like, I'm sleeping. I said, wake up, we're just going for a spin. And he sat in the car. He's like, where are you going? I said, to Ganderbal. That's the district in the Zojila. He's like, okay, cool. So once I started proceeding towards Zojila, he's like, yo, where are you going? I said, we're crossing Zojila, we're going up till Mathain. So the guy literally went all out, like, what is wrong with you? We have no car, we're riding on 19 inches, 30 profile, the rear is 25, what's wrong with you, So I just kept listening. I wanted to do it. I was like, dekha jayega. It either stops there or I come back. But Alhamdulillah, I crossed it. I sent them a picture right from the top that, listen boys, we are doing this. I have done it. I know it was crazy, but it was worth it. So I crossed it and I came back. And right after that day, everyone's like, okay, where are we sending the money? How are we doing the bookings? This, that, blah, blah. It just kept going, and boom.
But would you call it luck that we got fog at Zojila, because no one wanted to see what's on the other side of the mountain? And the day you did it, it was all clear skies
to be honest,
Zojila is a tricky, drive.
It's one of the world's most dangerous roads. Yeah. But luckily, we got fog, so people didn't know what was on the other side. If they would have seen that 12,000 feet of dip,
it's crazy.
I'm sure it would have been...
and then you get to the other side and the grand reveal how the landscape changes from Kashmir to Ladakh, and
absolutely,
it's completely different, right?
Two different sides of the world. Like when you're in Kashmir, like it's full of greenery. When you cross that border, literally when you enter, and it's all sand, like it's like, I don't know, some Saudi Arabian country or something. deserts, but beautiful roads. Like, we obviously coped up with the issues we had on Zojila after we crossed Zojila. All went mad. They were trying their machines, how it's gonna be, the corners, the curves.
Yeah.
We took like advantage of every single thing we could.
Absolutely. I also want to clear with a lot of people seeing these cars on YouTube and Instagram, us driving all the way from Delhi to Leh via Srinagar. I mean, everyone's not some kind of an entitled guy who has a lot of money and buys these
Absolutely.
cars and
Absolutely.
drives them just in the city. Everyone loves their cars. They're
Exactly.
properly
Trust
passionate
me.
about their cars. They're all excellent drivers, and they really wanted to push their limits of man and machine, right?
Yeah.
That's why
we want to make sure people know that we can drive these cars.
Yeah.
You don't see a bump and you just go straight up and be like, oh, no ground clearance. There's less ground clearance, so you actually take the steps.
You got to be alert also.
Yeah, exactly. You need to maneuver. You need to go right and left and see how your car's going to go through it. Especially the Ferrari, yeah. It's not just a Ferrari. He has a full forged Mansory carbon kit on it.
Absolutely.
And we didn't let it touch anywhere, be that putting stones on the road for him to
When he
cross.
was crossing,
Because he's family. Like,
Yeah.
all the people in this group, they're family. The only reason to do this trip was getting a pack of drivers which we know, which are our friends, across India together, and do this and set a world record that, you know what, we've done this.
Yeah.
Nobody had the balls to do this, we did it. Even Lamborghini sent their Urus in a truck.
Exactly.
Like, I was like,
It
wow.
was like, what, 30 kilometers they drove?
Why? Like, why? When a Ferrari 488 with a Mansory forged carbon kit, lips and whatnot did it, why couldn't an Urus do it? Dude, I've never seen any other cars coming up Zojila. Like, they always truck it up. I have a few people in Kashmir who actually come from Jammu, and even the Range Rovers come up on the trucks from Jammu. And I'm surprised and laughing.
Why don't you just drive it?
Why?
At least after this drive, a lot of people are going to drive
Absolutely,
the
they
cars.
should. Because if you don't drive the cars, it's much more wasted than driving it. Like, if the 8-year-old car was driven 80,000 kilometers, it would have been much better than not driven at all. It's people, I don't know how there are people, they don't drive at all.
Drive your cars, guys.
Seriously, please.
But yeah, it was an excellent drive.
Absolutely.
And this is only the start of things, only the start of things.
Trust me. We have a long list of plans now. So yeah, it was a wonderful drive. We enjoyed every bit of it. Tomorrow finally we're heading back. Some of the cars are trucked out. I think we still have 6-7 cars.
I'm driving back all the way to
You also
Delhi.
drive back?
Yeah.
So we're all going together. So Anand is still with us. We're gonna have a fun time crossing the Zojila again. But now it's gonna be much easier because we've seen it all. So we know what's coming.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
Right. Thank you for watching. The winners can send us a DM on our Instagram handle to get your limited edition modball run t-shirt.